Coming up on BearZone, club hockey fights two foes in one game over the weekend.
Also, the volleyball team picks up 2 wins in Montana.
We also have an update on soccer and softball.
We've got all that and more this week on BearZone. Don't go anywhere.
Cancer affects everyone in a different way. Friday night, UNC's hockey team fought for those who were affected by this horrible illness, but they also fought against the North Dakota State Bison. Each player wore a special cancer-themed jersey with the name on the back of a loved one who has had cancer. After a beautiful ceremony for the Hockey Fights Cancer Night, the Bears were ready to beat the Bison. NDSU struck first, putting the Bears down 1-0 early in the first period. The Bison continued to stay mighty until Brant Hebel and Mitchell Bailey each shot a goal, putting UNC on the scoreboard. UNC came out stronger during the second period, with Garrett Wood tying it up at 3 and Brian Brink taking the lead 4-3. Well into the third, the Bears led by 2 until Nick Buckholtz scored 1 to give UNC a 6-3 final. The Bears return to the Ice House tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. where they battle the Colorado Buffaloes.
After getting stung by the Hornets last weekend, UNC volleyball was ready to take on some Grizzlies. The team headed to Missoula Friday and started the weekend off right. Things started off close with both teams trading kills. Then Taylor Ells got to the service line and delivered 2 aces to extend the Bears' lead. Kills from Courtney Lockie, Alex Clone, and Emily O'Neill helped the Bears keep their lead and win the first set 25-18. In the second set, Montana struggled with 3 consecutive errors to start the Bears with an easy 3-0 lead. Taylor Muff delivered at the net with 2 kills to help maintain the lead and take the second set similarly to the first, 25-18. Set 3 was a little closer after the Grizzlies went on a 7-2 run to take the lead. UNC's defense stepped up and went on a 6-1 run of their own. A kill from Lockie regained the Bears' lead, and 2 kills from O'Neill sealed the Bears' set win and match sweep. The Bears took a short trip to Bozeman Saturday, hoping for similar results. The Bears got exactly what they hoped for and swept Montana State Saturday night by nearly the same scores. Scoring went back and forth in the first set with kills and attack errors from both teams. A kill from Courtney Lockie opened the door for the Bears, and kills from Taylor Muff, Emily O'Neill, and Jaden McCartney sealed the 25-19 set win. The second set started much the same, and Montana State held the lead for most of it. A kill from Lockie tied the game at 21, and 2 more from Lockie sealed the 25-22 win. UNC once again fell behind in the third set, but a Daisy Schultz kill gave the Bears the lead, and they went on to win the set 25-19 and sweep the Bobcats. The Bears are now 11-10 overall with a 4-4 conference record. You can catch the team tonight at Bank of Colorado Arena as they battle Weber State at 6 p.m.
UNC softball closed out their fall season, taking home 2 wins Sunday afternoon and a doubleheader against Colby Community College. The Bears started off strong, scoring 1 run in the second and third inning, and the game only got bigger from there. UNC wasn't going to let the Trojans get too close when they racked up 3 more in the 4th and 5th innings. Colby wasn't off to a fierce start, losing 10-1, but were determined to turn that energy around heading into the second game. In round 2, the Bears and Trojans both fought hard with neither team scoring until UNC put 1 on the scoreboard in the 4th inning. After that, Colby didn't stand a chance. Tallying back-to-back runs in the 5th inning, the Bears could already taste their sweet victory. By the end, UNC was just too much for the Trojans, winning 5-0. If you missed out watching any games this season, be sure to check out what the team has in store next year.
Following a loss to Eastern Washington, women's soccer looked to improve its 3-3 conference record Friday when they traveled to Southern Utah. The Bears were ready to redeem last week's loss, and Olivia Seddon capitalized early, scoring in the 9th minute. The Thunderbirds' Jessica French tied the game in the 32nd minute, but the Bears weren't having it. Marielle Gutierrez scored her 5th goal of the season just 10 minutes later to get the Bears' lead back. Gutierrez sealed the Bears' victory with another goal in the 79th minute. The Bears took the game 3-1 and improved their record to 4-3. The team is back in action tomorrow night in Greeley to take on the Montana Grizzlies. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. After the break, Abigail has the weather for the UNC football game this weekend. We'll be right back.
it is going to be an absolutely beautiful weekend with one exception. Looks like Friday and Sunday, we're going to see temperatures around 70 and 80 degrees with clear skies. However, Saturday looks like it's going to be windy with a lot cooler temperatures than what we've been used to this week. On Friday, we've got a game at 6 p.m. Looks like it's going to be around 70 degrees for the start of that game, with winds noticeable at around 7 miles an hour. On Saturday is our homecoming football game. At noon, it looks like it's going to be around 54 degrees with noticeable winds and high winds at around 20 miles per hour. Now keep in mind those wind speeds will drop the temperature quite a bit, and wind chill will be a factor if you plan to attend this game. On Saturday, we've got another game at 6 p.m. for volleyball. Looks like it's going to be around 50 degrees for the start of that game with winds dying down for the evening. UNC plays Portland State in Portland this weekend on Sunday at 2 p.m. It looks like it's going to be rainy all day for the game and have a temperature of 58 degrees with winds sustained at around 10 miles per hour for the game. Tomorrow, the Houston Astros play the New York Yankees in Houston, Texas, and it looks like it's going to be around 81 degrees with some thunderstorms likely. On Sunday, the Broncos play the Chargers in Carson, California, and it looks like it's going to be nice weather there with a high of 91 degrees. Now, we all know how unpredictable the weather can be in Colorado for fall, but just imagine this week, just a few decades ago, the Broncos were actually playing in a blizzard. And this was a game more enjoyable by polar bears than by people. On October 15, 1984, the Denver Broncos played the Green Bay Packers in a game where temperatures did not exceed 30 degrees Fahrenheit and winds were gusting at over 55 miles an hour. For the whole game, they accumulated 4 inches of new snowfall, and the storm total for around Denver was up to 3 feet of snow. There were over 62,000 people in attendance, and the Broncos did win by 17-14. Now, the reason why this blizzard happened was because the day before the blizzard, there was a cold front that moved through, setting up perfect conditions for the Denver blizzard of 1984. Good thing this isn't in our forecast the next week, at least that I can see. Back to you.
What's an ultimate Frisbee player's worst nightmare? The wind. On Saturday the 14th, Northern Colorado Upstream hosted its own Cow Patty Ultimate Frisbee Hat Tournament. Unfortunately, they had to cut the tournament short because of the wind. Just ask BearZone reporter Austin Sack. He went to the practice fields and tells us how the tournament went.
On Saturday, October 14th, Northern Colorado Upstream hosted its own Cow Patty Ultimate Frisbee Hat Tournament. The tournament had a fairly decent turnout with 25 players showing up. Sadly, the game had to be cut short because of the high amount of wind. The Bears are spending the rest of this week preparing for their next tournament in Fort Collins called Fright Flight.
Upstream's next tournament is Saturday the 21st at Fort Collins. It's called Fright Flight and requires all players to be dressed up in costumes. Tune in next week on BearZone to find out how the Bears did and what the theme of their costumes was.
Over the weekend, the women's swim and dive team dove into their season in Las Cruces, New Mexico for their first dual meet with New Mexico State. In their opening meet, the Bears put up a fight but fell to NMSU 171-127. Despite the overall result, UNC had a strong effort, winning 7 of the 16 events. 2 Bears placed first in their events: Petra Kiss, who won the 200 butterfly, and Emily Hamill with the 50-yard freestyle. Over on the diving boards, Allison Woods was the lone bear and finished fourth in both the 1 and 3 meter competition. The loss gives UNC head coach Lisa Ebeling an idea of what the team needs to work on for their next meet. We'll keep you updated on how the team's preparing for their next dual meet in Wyoming next week on BearZone.
The MLB playoffs are down to 4 teams vying for the title of Best in Baseball. The Houston Astros and New York Yankees are the remaining American League teams. Behind Justin Verlander and Dallas Keuchel, the Astros took a demanding 2-0 lead. But the Baby Bombers decided to change that with 3 straight wins in New York. With the Yankees up 3-2, the series shifts back to Houston with Game 6 tomorrow night. In the National League, the Los Angeles Dodgers took a commanding 3-1 lead over the defending champion Chicago Cubs. The Dodgers can punch their ticket to the World Series tonight at Wrigley Field. We will keep you updated on the playoffs next week right here on BearZone.
Stats can be misleading, and that is definitely true of the Denver Broncos after Sunday night's game. Trevor Siemian threw for 376 yards in the 23-10 loss to the New York Giants. Great stat, right? No. He only went 29 for 50 and got sacked 4 times for a loss of 28 yards. The Broncos went 3 and out on their first 2 possessions of the game, and the Giants took a 3-0 lead. Denver finally got into scoring position, but Brandon McManus' 35-yard field goal was no good, so the Broncos ended the first quarter down by a field goal. Siemian's first interception came on the next Denver possession with the Giants already up 10-0. Siemian's second interception resulted in a touchdown, giving the Giants the 17-3 lead at half. McManus missed a second field goal in the third quarter with the Broncos down 20-3. The lone Broncos touchdown came with less than 5 minutes left in the game on a 13-yard Siemian pass to Jeff Wehrman. The Giants made their way down the field and kicked another field goal to seal the 23-10 victory, their first of the season. Denver is 3-2 for the season and travels to Los Angeles Sunday for a battle against Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. Kickoff is set for 2:25 p.m.
The controversy surrounding National Football League players sitting or kneeling during the national anthem continues to swirl. As my co-anchor Brittany Riley tells us, amidst the criticism, the player who started the protest upped the pressure by charging the league with conspiring to punish him.
Former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick has thrown his final Hail Mary. At the start of the 2016 season, he made headlines when he remained seated for the national anthem during a preseason game to protest the oppression of people of color in the United States. Sunday, Kaepernick filed a grievance against NFL owners for collusion. Instead of filing through the NFL Players Association, he hired attorney Mark Garagos, who has represented several high-profile clients. According to Garagos, Kaepernick has exhausted all his options with teams and executives and is being denied employment because of his protests. In March 2017, Kaepernick opted out of his contract with the San Francisco 49ers because he believed the team would cut him eventually. He is now an unsigned free agent in search of a team. He has spoken out about his willingness to go wherever he is needed and to even keep the workouts a secret until any final decisions are made, but he remains unsigned. The filing demands an arbitration hearing on the matter and says the NFL and its owners, quote, have colluded to deprive Mr. Kaepernick of employment rights in retaliation for his leadership and advocacy for equality and social justice, and he is bringing awareness to peculiar institutions still undermining racial equality in the U.S. Kaepernick sent a copy of the complaint to the NFLPA as well as all 32 teams. In another statement, Garagos said that the principled and peaceful protest, which was imitated in great theater weeks ago, should not be punished, and that Kaepernick has filed a grievance to protect all athletes from such collusive conduct. The grievance is based on Article 17 of the collective bargaining agreement negotiated by the players and the league. The article states that no club shall enter into any agreement, express or implied, with the NFL or any other club to restrict or limit individual club decision-making on whether to offer or not offer a player contract to any player. The legal team must prove by a clear preponderance of the evidence that at least 2 teams have conspired to keep him out of the league. Because the case goes to arbitration under the collective bargaining agreement, Kaepernick's counsel cannot subpoena any documents or compel any witnesses to testify. Section 6 of Article 17 states that failure to sign a player shall not by itself or in combination only with evidence about the playing skills of the player satisfy the burden of proof. In other words, he cannot prove collusion just by arguing that he is qualified. If a club believes the player won't unite with the team or could negatively affect the fan base, the club is well within its right not to sign the player. Kaepernick's last Hail Mary remains in the air. Will it be a touchdown or an interception? Reporting from the studio, I'm Brittany Riley, BearZone.
This isn't the first grievance filed against the NFL by current or former players, and other sports such as Major League Baseball have dealt with similar grievances. In the end, Kaepernick has to satisfy a neutral arbiter that the teams agreed among themselves not to hire him, and that's a tall order.
Kaepernick has virtually no case here. He was never fined by the league or the 49ers for standing or kneeling. He simply isn't playing because he's not good enough.
Well, Kaepernick, if he wants to win this, when he throws that final Hail Mary, it better be a touchdown.
And that is our show for tonight. Be sure to stay up to date on our Twitter and Instagram pages, BearZone UNCO, and on YouTube, Bear News 98.
Make sure to like us and to join us every week for BearZone. All sports, all the time for UNC Athletics. Good night.